In recent months, the New York Times has published 7 articles criticizing Shengyun Performing Arts. That's a New York-based classical Chinese dance company dedicated to showcasing China before communism. The articles coincide with the leaked document from the highest level of the Chinese Communist Party outlining plans to eradicate Falun Gong and organizations established by its practitioners abroad. Shengyun, in response to the articles, says the misleading reporting disregards ongoing human rights abuses in China and belittles the faith of tens of millions across China and around the world. To hear their story, we speak with Jared Masson, an MC with Shengyun since 2007. Jared Masson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Shengyun Performing Arts has published a press release in response to the New York Times reporting, noting that while it's true that Shengyun is massively successful, there are many things that the paper got wrong, including how and essentially why Shengyun manages to become one of the fastest growing U.S. performing arts companies that it is right now. Tell us more about it. What is Shengyun's real story?
So the article seems to overlook the entire fact that Shengyun started by practitioners of Falun Gong, many who had fled China under duress, under persecution. They came to China, they were artists, they started this performance company. The performance company had 2 main goals. One was to tell the world about the persecution of Falun Gong, but really that wasn't the main goal. The main goal was to revive traditional Chinese culture that the Chinese Communist Party had been suppressing in China for decades. Those were the main goals. To suggest that we started a theatrical company just to make money is ridiculous. And that's kind of the whole point of the article, trying to say that this is just some big money-making scheme, which it didn't start as that. But because of very good business practices, finding ways to have the business run well, to sell tickets, all of that, we were able to make money, which in fact, many theatrical companies, many performances rely on government funds or large corporations giving them donations. We've accepted no donations. We've done this all on our own. And we did this by selling tickets. It's that simple. If we didn't have a good show, people wouldn't come buy tickets. They wouldn't see it. So in essence, the New York Times is praising us for doing a great job at selling tickets.
Well, Shengyun is also a nonprofit organization. While it's massively successful in attracting audiences worldwide, tell us more about what that means, for being a nonprofit organization means, and how money is used.
So the nonprofit, that just means that it's not like a normal business that gets double taxed and you have to, give dividends to stockholders. There's no stockholders, right? So the money comes in and then we use that money how we see fit. And so the 3 main categories that we use the money in are to pay people's salaries, and then for all of our operations, and then 2, we keep cash on hand like any good business would, and especially nonprofits. Many nonprofits keep large amounts of cash on hand. Why? Well, during COVID, the COVID lockdown, we saw the great benefit of this. Nobody was laid off. We didn't go bankrupt. We were able to continue. Even though we couldn't perform for over a year, we were still able to keep going. And who knows what the future holds. So I think it is a very strategic and smart move to have as much cash on hand as you can.
And besides performers with Shengyun, in a statement, Shengyun also knows that many volunteers around the world actually have donated their time and resources to helping the company throughout the past 2 decades. How does this initiative come together, and what's really driving it?
Right. So what you have is, at the beginning, we didn't have any money. We were this small group being persecuted in China. We had this idea to start a performing arts company. So of course, like anything, we had the mission to do this. We wanted to let the world know about the persecution. We also wanted the world to know about the beauty of traditional Chinese culture. So we have all these volunteers who come out, and of course they do everything that they can. They help us sell tickets. They would make food for us. They would help with the catering. They would do anything that they could. They didn't do this for money. They didn't do this for fame. They did this solely to help this show deliver the message to the world. That's how we started, and that's how we still operate. Everybody just, we do everything that we can to make this show a success.
And speaking of the message that Shenyun is trying to deliver around the world, tell us how faith, which is important to your organization, shaped Shenyun's performances on stage.
So the faith aspect, you could almost look at it from this point of view. Throughout Chinese history, for thousands of years, they had a deep faith in the divine, whether that was Taoism or Buddhism, or you can even argue Confucianism. They had this deep faith. And so all of that we see expressed in the show. And that's, I believe that that's really what inspires a lot of people, because you feel like you're, as an audience member, like you're taken off into heaven, or that you're taken back into this historical period. And that is just it delivers such a strong message, such a powerful message of inspiration that, quite frankly, we don't really get today.
And we also know that recently leaked documents reveal that the Chinese regime is implementing plans to, quote, eradicate Falun Gong worldwide by trying to put the U.S. government against the spiritual group. And it comes right as the Times articles are hitting against Shenyun and different organizations around it. What's your take on it?
Well, so the Chinese Communist Party has been persecuting Falun Gong since 1999. That has never stopped. Now, a lot of the time, most of that time, many people felt that this was just happening in China. This had nothing to do with us in the outside world. But now we are starting to see, it's not just Falun Gong, it's these, there are government officials that now we have discovered there are spies from the Chinese Communist Party working there. That was reported from the New York governor's office. We see that there are these secret police stations. This just happened about a week ago, that was discovered in New York, and the person was prosecuted who created this, which is all totally illegal. So Shenyun and Falun Gong are almost like the Communist Party is just testing this in America, testing this in the United States to see what will happen. And my prediction is that it will not stop at us. It's going to start, and it already is. It already is starting to enter into other aspects of the United States. And I think that is all that is what they have been doing to us for decades. And that is their next step, infiltrating into the United States.
Well, a looming threat facing the American way of life there. And last but not least, what would you want to say to audience members who are planning to watch Shenyun this year? And what's your message to those who are perhaps just learning about the show?
Well, so this show is amazing. We are already on tour. All 8 of our companies are out on the road. We have shows that we have had shows that have sold out for over 10 years. Our tickets are going fast. So even though they are doing this hit piece on us, even though they are saying all this stuff, from what I can tell, it doesn't stop audience members. There's still so many people who want this message of inspiration in their lives. They want to see what Shenyun is all about. And I do not think you will be at all disappointed if you go see the show.
Jared Masson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.